page, Roku TV. If you go down to the 101 app, no, it's not a secret. Just pop over to your Roku, download the 101 app, and you will see our big, beautiful faces there on your big, beautiful screens. And you can watch the big, beautiful shows there all that you want. So welcome to the shows. And also, it's not just, our radio shows that are going on. We also have movies that do play, and they're like the newer, up-to-date movies. So you can always check it out anytime as well. And then, of course, our shows during the week, they're all kind of scattered in there, and our fun little guests and everything, which is awesome. And you never know who's on the different shows unless you're following our pages. So I do suggest you go like and follow, subscribe, do the things, because, we always post up who our guests are going to be on all of our shows. So with that as well, thank you to my guest who's going to be here this evening, because he is also a fellow Canadian, which is always super fun and cool, because not only do we stream across the world, but we like to also have people from our own, backyards float around and come in and tell us all the cool things that they are doing. So without further ado, I welcome my special guest this evening, all the way from the other side of Canada, Halifax, right? Halifax?
Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island, yeah, Montague, PEI.
Jon, how do you say your last name? What? Wait.
It's Waugh, W-A-U-G-H.
There we go. To the show.
Thank you. Thank
Jon,
you for having me.
The show. Hold on. I've been playing around with my special fun things. Welcome
That's
to the
awesome.
show.
I like that.
Right? Who doesn't like a little, applause when they come on and do the things?
Of course.
Right? I was finding out that StreamYard that I use for my shows, they have integrated some fun little things, and I was like, oh, I like applause. Let's use some applause. So then I can welcome my guests and we can all applause for them, which is really super fun. So you are one of my guests that we've been trying to get together to do an interview. And so finally we're like, okay, now we have time. We can do the things, because we get so busy having all of our different guests on all the time. And those that do reach out to us, we don't, we're not pushing people away. We just get busy, but we also want to work with everyone's schedules and what works with them and things like that. And so the life is busy. It gets in the way, right? Yeah. And I don't know how you do the things that you do when you have a busy schedule. So let us know what you do, a formal introduction, and then we'll get into all like the nitty gritties, because one thing that you do is book writing. And I'm like, I don't know how you have got time, but please do a formal introduction.
I don't have time. I don't know where I found the time, honestly.
All right, take it away.
So I'm Jon Waugh from PEI. I wrote a book called The Dearly Departing, The Dreams They Planted. I also did a short nonfiction book called Tales from the Midnight Taxi, The War on Customer Service. But that was so I didn't forget all the funny stories when I drove a taxi for 10 years. And a book before that I wrote as something of a personal growth. It's not really for everybody, but it was just kind of for me. I've written a feature screenplay called Tourniquet, and I also won a $4,000 scholarship at Vancouver Film School in 2011, based on the trailer script. And a previous script to that was Red is the Rose, which was kind of a beginner script that was quite a long time ago. That was 1999. So Tourniquet came around 2002, finished in 2005. And then I wrote The Dearly Departing as a short script in 2011. And I've been planning 14 years, what should I do with this? Because the means to make it a film in PEI it's very limited for certain people. And so I didn't have a crew. I didn't have anything together, so I just forgot about it. But I made notes here and there, and eventually I tackled the book. I was very inspired after having an interview with Patty Larson, another island author, who really gave me the motivation to write this book. So I sat down, and with 14 years of notes, I just banged this thing out, and it turned out better than I wanted it to. And there were moments of serendipity in that book that I didn't intend to put in that story. Um, the There's a kind of a strawberry thematic through line to the story, even though it's kind of dystopian, it's kind of horror. There's a really thick love story, and I don't think you'll look at strawberries the same anymore. So I mean, I won't. Every time I see them, I think of those characters and what happened, and it's nuts.
It's nuts. It's not
Yeah,
strawberries.
it is crazy. I can't look at strawberries the same anymore. I work at a grocery store as well, so I see strawberries every single day, and I'm reminded of these characters every single day.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah.
Can't even imagine. I want to just kind of rewind, if you will, and go back to like film school. And did you, and writing as well, because I know writing goes hand in hand with film school. Obviously, some people are writing their scripts and doing the things. So, what was like that first initial moment of like, oh, I want to go to film school? What was that turning point of just like, this is something I want to do? And not only that, you're like on the other side of Canada and Vancouver, like there's that huge distance. So take us through the story of, how you got there, why you wanted to go there, and that writing aspect as well.
Well, I've always loved writing. Sorry.
And like the writing aspect for like the film, not necessarily the book yet, but like just the film, like how you got into writing for film too.
Um, well, initially I was inspired by a couple of movies. First was The Lion King when I was a kid, and then Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Those two movies had a huge impact on me. They touched down on things that I often thought about, like, well, more so Terminator 2 with the nuclear warfare and all that stuff, and the political um, climate and whatnot. That was very interesting to me. But so I wanted to do something um, beautiful like The Lion King, but I never came up with any ideas that could even match The Lion King in the way of beauty. So I kept writing. I kept dreaming of getting into film, and so it was a long time from the time I started. I was 15 when I started the dream of writing, filmmaking, stuff like this, and I was doing security at the time. It was 2008, and Vancouver Film School had an information session at the Delta Hotel. And so I went down there and I saw what they were offering, and I was just blown away by the awesome technology that they have available to students. And so then from there, I enrolled in the Writing for Film and Television program.
Okay, so you were working in Vancouver.
No, I wasn't. I was working in PEI, and then
Oh,
I enrolled in the course, and then flew out.
oh, okay. I was like, how did you get from here to there? Okay. I was like, oh, you worked security out there. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
No, just security in Charlottetown wasn't
Nothing
anything big.
fancy.
No,
Well,
nothing fancy.
they do have special security that they will actually hire from anywhere across the world for big events, just depending on the events that they want to have. But, I don't think maybe a film festival, who knows if there's major stars rolling in.
I do it.
You never know.
I do it.
You do it, right? So there's a huge difference between The Lion King and Judgment Day. However, they both kind of circle around the circle of life.
Yeah. Well, The Lion King was
There's a
very
theme.
innocent.
Yeah.
I loved the innocence of The Lion King, and that was the innocence of my childhood. And it was maybe even a year later I saw Terminator 2, and there goes all my childhood innocence gone out the window. Like, that was it. I didn't want to see any more Disney movies. I was
Like,
like,
I'm
oh, there's a serious problem in this world, and I got to know more about it. And so I was like thinking, does anybody even think about this stuff, or is it just me? I don't know, but I don't know. It's fascinating anyway. It was a great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fantastic.
right. I find that it's very fascinating how some movies will just kind of trigger something in someone to, dig a little bit deeper into something that will perk them up and go, oh, I wonder about this or this, and the curiosity, and you're like, because even for some people, it could have been The Lion King, and they're like, well, I want to know a little bit more about the circle of life, or maybe they want to know more about lions or whatever, and they become a zookeeper or whatever, right? So you never know the path that someone gets chosen on when they watch even just this, like, I wouldn't even say it's a simple movie, but a different type of a movie that, some people would be like, oh, okay, sci-fi, whatever, cool, whatever. But for you, it had sparked some interest and curiosity. So
The love
that's
story.
the
The love
love
story
story.
was where I loved the conclusion of The
Yeah.
Lion King, and I loved how the story was so basic. It was incredibly basic, as we all know, but the whole idea that all this stuff could happen, and then
Yeah.
just everything could be made right in the end. How often do we want our situations in life to be made completely right in the end? And sometimes it doesn't happen for people. Sometimes there is no conclusion to that horrible scenario of
I
Mufasa
mean, yeah,
dying.
burned down like the Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, but realistically, we don't
Yeah.
we don't always have a great ending to some of the things that we deal with in life, like death and tragedy and stuff like this. There isn't a big conclusion,
Mm.
and so but to dream about something more beautiful than just what happened, and kind of look at the story as well. You know what? It can happen in stories. It can happen in movies. It can happen in real life too. Why not? Right? So it tickled my imagination a little bit too.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Let's go into now the book writing. So you went to film school, and something of that had perked your interest in actually writing books. So take us on that little bit of a journey.
Well, screenwriting is I find a very difficult business to get into. It's not hard to make contacts. It's not hard to meet people, but having the time to finish feature screenplays and having more than just one script to offer it's very time consuming, and it's a huge gamble. If you put in a lot of time into a script and nobody wants to see it, um, you know, chances are nothing's going to happen. So with that, that was kind of my situation. I didn't really have a lot of time to write more scripts. So with that, then I get bogged down with work and stuff like that. So I thought, well, you know what? I could always self-publish and be an indie author. That was kind of what led me to it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Being an indie author, do you find that do you find there's more competition, or do you find it harder? What do you find, like, any struggles with that?
Marketing is the hardest one because you have to do everything yourself. Um,
Mm.
a lot of other indie authors that I know on TikTok, they find the algorithm changes. They do this, that. The marketers say, try this, try that, and nothing really works. You have to spend the money. It's plain and simple. If you get traditionally published, a lot of the times they will put the money in and market the book for you. So you have a higher chance of success with traditional publishing, but indie authorship, um, there is, there's kind of a stigma attached to it as well. Like, some people are using AI. Uh, you can't really tell now. And some people are just writing crappy books, and you pay $4.99 for a book you think is going to be good. The cover is good. The blurb is great. You get into it, and the story sucks because there's no gatekeeper to say that didn't work.
Mm.
But if you have a lot of friends who are willing to look over your work and see what doesn't work and what does work, and just make sure that it's the best book that you can create before you put it out there to the world.
Yeah.
But it's gaining that trust. um, that's the hardest part, is gaining reader trust.
Right. But you can also hire someone to do like not necessarily the proofreading. Well, I guess it would be like a proofread, but they're not necessarily correcting things. They're just like looking at the storyline. Correct? You can get someone to
Yeah.
just do that, like a
Yeah.
read over, and then be able to go, okay, well, if they think this is good or, they may have some feedback, would that be a good route for someone to take as well?
Yeah, if they have a lot of writing experience, you can get away with proofreading, hiring a proofreader or getting your friends to proofread. Um, if they enjoy it, they don't see anything, then you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah.
But if they do see major plot holes and they're honest and they don't care about hurting your feelings, they will hopefully tell you that something's not working or whatever. I would rather honesty any day of the week than
Yeah.
be nice to me. I don't want nice. I want honesty, and that's all. Because at the end of the day, this is still customer service.
Yeah.
Um, I am selling entertainment for you. Like, it's not for me. I enjoyed writing it, yes, but I wrote it to entertain you and to make you get the feels going on. I want you to cry. That's
You
I
want me to
want you to
cry?
cry more than anything. I want you to laugh, and I want you to just enjoy the hell out of this.
Right.
I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
But some people, they write books because they're like, I wrote a book. Look at me, I'm so big, I'm huge.
Right.
Their ego is expanding, but their quality of entertainment shrinking.
They want
And
the,
I do.
I wrote a book. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I don't care. Nobody cares. Anybody and their grandma can write a book and
yeah.
self-publish. But how many people can write a book that really entertains? That's my question. And that's why I did 8 drafts on the dearly departing, the dreams they planted,
Holy
to make
smoke.
sure. Yeah, and you know what? The feedback that I've gotten so far is that a few people have told me they don't have to reread any lines to understand it. Like, go back to what did he mean there? One person I know, she said that oftentimes in Stephen King novels, she'd have to reread the line because maybe it was a sentence fragment or whatever, and it didn't quite make sense, or she read it too quick or whatever. But I made sure that every single line in the Dearly Departing is as clear as day. You're not going to
Yeah.
mistake what I'm trying to say to move the plot forward. You're not going
Interesting.
to make that mistake. Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Um, most people know I'm not an avid reader. John knows I'm not an avid reader. He sent me the book. I have not had time to read it. So I think I've read the first couple pages, whatever, and I was like, okay, I just didn't have time to read it. However, um, I do find that I need a book that will fully suck me in and keep me interested and keep me on my toes and like what's going to happen next, or something that's that I'm very interested in to keep me going. Otherwise, if it's really dry, I'm just like, no, like this isn't for me. So even when you have like your friends proofread and things like that, it's almost like you have to, like, it's such an individual taste of what they like too. So if
yeah,
you know that they're a very picky reader and you can catch their attention and it keeps going, then it's like, okay, this should work for most of the readers out there.
yeah. It's
So
the it's the
yeah,
relatability. It's all in the relatability.
yeah,
These kind of the things. Chapter 2 is quite long, but it's nostalgic. It takes place in the '90s in chapter 2. We start in a few years earlier before we get to present day 2024. Well, present day 2024, not right now, but
well,
but
actually, you know what, let's go through the book a little bit. Like, tell us a little bit about, we know that the title is Dearly Departing, but take us through the idea of the book, like how you got the idea for it, and take us through just a little bit. Don't give us the whole, story. We don't want to be like, well, I don't need to read it now. But just kind of like you said, you can talk about chapter 2 and things like that. So yeah, take us through that. It would be awesome.
so chapter 2, the whole idea of chapter 2 is to get an idea of Jake and Kayla's relationship as as kids. They meet, they become best friends, and they're glued together. It does start a little bit slow, but there's nothing in even the first 9 chapters at all that doesn't move the plot forward. So this is inspired essentially by The Walking Dead. I hate to say it, but I got a lot of my inspiration from The Walking Dead. But I'm gonna put it in a nutshell and sum it up to this. Imagine The Walking Dead meets My Girl and Old Yeller, all in one movie. That's the Dearly Departing right there.
Which is 3 in 1. Oop.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
I can't say too much. I don't want to give it away, but yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to strawberries. So you touch upon the strawberries in the book, and you said now you can't look at them the same. Tell us why. Tell us, that little caveat of the strawberries.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to tell you as much as I can without giving anything away again, because I think it's, no pun intended, but it's a real treat if you like strawberries. So Jake, his mom runs a little strawberry farm in Murray River, Prince Edward Island. Of course, this is fiction. And the girl he meets at school, Kayla, their moms know each other. And so Kayla's mom surprises Jake by taking Kayla over, and they meet in the strawberry field, and they fall in love over strawberries, and they're picking strawberries together. And so throughout the whole story, they have dreams of rebuilding this strawberry farm and having 7 kids and getting married and doing all that family stuff. And it's all surrounded by their passion of strawberries. Their whole life is in that field, and I'm not going to say anything else because, yeah, I
just can't.
Yeah,
Who doesn't love? That's like the My Girl part, the 2 kids that fall in love and they find their dream home, and they're out, and it's almost like a vineyard, but it's like the strawberry patch, and so they go out there and they make jam, don't they?
They make some jokes about making jam.
There you go.
They're kind of funny. But Jake, they both served 14 years in the military, Canadian military. And Jake has got PTSD. He was on the front lines. He was an infantry officer, and she was an RN, Lieutenant RN. So he needs her. And there's no better way to say it than Kayla is his war hero. And she is everything that he ever needed. I'm not going to say anything more because we're getting close to giving it away here. But you got to read it. You got to read it.
You can kind of arm like a war veteran and PTSD and like a nurse or whoever that's around to help you. And of course, I mean, what better than someone that loves you already and that they can mentally take care of you and hopefully physically take care of you being a nurse if you're wounded or whatever. So that's beautiful because it just shows an admiration for someone that you do love and that you're always by their side, and you kind of take them for better or for worse, whatever their situation. Like some war veterans, they don't have all their limbs per se, right? So you have to do a lot of work for them as well. If they can't be walking around the house or can't grab things or do that, you really have to help them in quite a bit of ways. And sometimes that can be daunting on the caregiver as well. So, to show that love and admiration for someone that's lost a limb or been through that situation, and they're there full-heartedly and they want to take care of you, like that shows a lot of admiration, and it's beautiful, and really, and not just on the silver screen, but in life, that is a true love story. It really is.
And the big, huge question is, how far would you go? How far would you go for the one you love? I've heard it said that there's no greater love than the one who lays down their life for their friends. It's a biblical passage, but it demonstrates how far love can go, and that's all the way to the very end. Um, so I better stop there. I think I was about to say something I shouldn't about
like,
the plot. I don't want to get. I'm trying really hard not to give it away.
no, exactly. We'll take
There's
it.
so much to it. There's so much to it. The plot is really thick. The plot
Yeah.
is really thick. The book's 300 pages. There's no fluff. I don't drag it out. I'm not dragging anything out at all.
This is not
Everything,
fantasy.
everything, no, everything has a meaning. And like you'll notice, like if you notice the smallest little things, it means something, and it comes back in the end. You know, like some of the best movies, movies or books begin with a certain thing, and that certain thing, if you're paying attention, it'll come back in the end, and it'll make full circle. You know,
Yeah, the
everything in this book,
foreshadowing.
yeah, this
Yeah.
whole story is full circle in a way that you're not going to see coming. It's not your typical story. Well, maybe it's a little bit typical in certain tiny ways, but of course that just came from inspiration from other things that I've seen before. But there's everything has a meaning to it. There's not like a scene where there's something going on just so I can get through chapter 3 to chapter 4 and just have a chapter. I didn't do that. Like there's nothing in those chapters that doesn't mean anything. There was one little scene I will say that comes back in the end, and I didn't even mean to do this. This is so crazy. Like, oh my gosh, it's so weird to think about when I think back to it, because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that, but that's cool and it really works. So they're driving back from Petawawa, Ontario to Prince Edward Island to the old homestead in the beginning. And so, of course, that's a long drive. And so they stop at a hotel halfway there, border of Quebec and New Brunswick.
Yeah.
They get a hotel, and they're all tired, whatever, well, kind of tired. But, you know, they're not really that tired. They're not that tired. If you know what I'm talking. So it's
This is
like
a PG show.
There's moonlight coming in the window, right?
Oh boy.
It's a lighting thing. It's just a lighting thing. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything else. So get your mind out of the gutter. This is on you, not me. Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on now. There's a lighting thing that I described, and what happens is that they're facing each other, and the moonlight comes into the window, which is fine. You know, moonlight comes in windows all the time, right? It's no big deal.
Oh yeah.
But it hits one eye, and the other eye is kind of, I don't know, shadowed. If you know, I can't do that with my lighting, but it's kind of shadowed. So this eye here glows a bit lighter green. This one stays a little bit darker. It comes back. That it means something huge, and it's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart when you see it.
I want to know.
Yeah, it's going to mess you up. I mean, it messed me up just trying to write this bloody thing, and I can't. Honestly, I can't read the last chapter myself without getting teary-eyed. And I don't like to admit that, but it's true. I can't do it. I went as far as I could go with making it as emotional as I could.
Yeah. How, as a writer, one question I do have is when you have to write something so emotional like that, whether say, you know, it's a true great love story that they fall in love and it just brings, you know, the happiness and whatever, you know, that's like the kind of probably like the easier stuff to write. But when it's harder, like losing someone, or maybe, you know, they get a disease, or there's a blow up of the world, or, you know, whatever, because you already know the storyline in your head, but to put it on paper, how do you manage dealing with those emotions?
It's very hard because of the sensory details that I've added to the story. It's all in the sensory details. It's, you know, it might be the quicker.
You have to be so descriptive, because it's not just like, you know, making a movie and you're like, okay, well, yeah, throw in a bomb here and do something there and having a woman carrying child and running across the, you know, that's easy because it's not like whatever. But to actually be like, you know, because this is something personal that you've created these characters in your mind, you already have that relationship with them, that they're almost like your children in a way.
Mhm.
Then now putting it to paper, like how?
It's like I said, it's really really hard because you are them. You are Jake, you are Kayla, you are everybody, and you're experiencing everyone's emotions, and you're trying to think of how this person's going to respond to this, what is said to them, or this situation. So you're, you know, the giver and the taker of the conversation, and it's all happening within in your own head. So it's basically, if you've ever sat there and replayed had a conversation with somebody without actually having a conversation with somebody, you're just having this conversation in your head with somebody you want to talk to. You're trying to rehearse what you're going to say. I've done that many times myself, so it's kind of like doing that. But when it comes to getting it on the computer and putting in those sensory details, you can see every little movement of that person's face with those sensory details, um, like the quivering lip of I can't say what I want to say right now because I'm going to break down. This is such a hard situation, and then the other person can see their facial reaction of that quivering lip. So what do you try to do? Is you try to you know, you want the other character to say something a little softer, maybe to calm them down, because that's what we do in real life. Is we try to
Yeah,
make things a little bit better. We don't want you to cry, even though crying's good for you. It releases stress hormones and stuff like this. But we don't want to see somebody crumble. We don't want to see somebody we love crumble. So we try to make this easier for them. So we have the other character say, well, you know, listen, I'm sure there's something we can do to make this work or whatever,
yeah.
that it doesn't have to be that bad. So don't worry, you know, and they say, don't worry. Um, and it's the look in their eyes. Maybe sometimes their eyes are getting glassy, you know, with tears.
Yeah.
Just the faint glassiness of their eyes, you know it's coming. You know the tears are coming, or they're trying to restrain themselves and not cry and try to be tough for that person. And
Yeah.
you know their hands are shaking, their fingers are quivering, and their nerves are shot because you know whatever situation they're going through. Those are the sensory details in there. You know,
Wow.
it's not. They say show don't tell, and I'm a big fan of showing from my screenwriting experience, and showing it in prose is quite a bit more fun than screenwriting because you can get the fine details, and you're right there. Your eyes in your mind's eye is the camera right there, and you're watching the scene play out. And that's why, and it's so close. And this book being first person, present tense point of view, it makes it so much more personal than third person. And you don't ever lose your spot in it because if it's say Jake's point of view, then you are Jake. In Kayla's point of view, you're walking in her shoes, and after walking in her shoes, coming home to Jake, you know, and he says, "How was your day?" After what she's been through, you know, she says, "It's not good." I mean, she's not going to
Yeah.
explain everything again, but yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's what it's like.
That's just even that little tiny bit you just described, someone about to cry, and then it's like I can just see it already. Like
Mhm.
just two people, and then just that exchange right there. That's like magic, really.
It's crazy. It's a really crazy feeling. It really is. And writing the sensory details of fear is or shock is really that's something else too. As
Wow.
there's a little scene where Buddy couldn't believe what happened, and I'm not going to say exactly what happened,
No, no.
but something happened,
Yeah.
and it's unbelievable. It's just the most unbelievable thing he never, ever, ever imagined it could
Yeah.
be a reality. And the way he looked at his hands and just thought, this is real.
Wow.
What am I going to tell my wife? And he's going to come home and she's going to look at his hands and say, what happened? And how is he going to, what kind of words is he going to use?
Right?
But he's not going to use many, I can tell you that much. No, it's not much to say, but you'll understand reading the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want you to give it away, but can only imagine, and that's the magic of it, right? Is just you can describe so much, and in everyone's mind they're already building their own storyline, and
Yeah.
then you can just like do a conclusion of your own and be like, okay, that's why it's like when you can read a book and there's so many descriptive things going on, you get to a point and you're like, two things could happen.
Yeah.
It could go horribly wrong or it could go horribly right, and that's what you want, right? Because
Yeah.
then it's like, then you get like, then you can build the sequels and
Yeah.
stuff for that. So real quick, because we're gonna wrap up soon, but there are this is the third book to there's a like three books.
No.
Like a
This
trilogy. No,
this is the
you've
first book.
written okay. What were the other two leading up to this one though? You had put out two other books though.
No, they weren't the Dearly Departed. One was just a nonfiction about taxi driving, all my best stories. It's
Oh, okay.
20 short story. I don't know why I even wrote that. It was it's like remember the crazy stories. That was
Okay.
it,
Maybe in my
I mean,
head I'm making a sequel.
I no,
Would
I
you do a
told you
sequel to that?
I think I might have mentioned it before that I was thinking of a sequel. I'm also thinking of a prequel as well for when
See?
Jake and Kayla were in their teenage years. Um, could be very interesting, but I think the sequel will be more relevant to the political climate of today in Canada. Um, and it's
Yeah.
extremely dystopian. It will be extremely dystopian. Still have your heartbreak and all the relationships and all the chaos and stuff like that. But now going back to the prequel, um, if I do the prequel,
Mhm.
my intention is, well, I mean, their love is born out of tragedy,
Yeah.
hence the name, the dearly departing. Something bad always has to happen, but their love is not born from romance; it's born from tragedy, and they're there for each other, and they have been their whole lives. So if I do the prequel, and if you happen to read the prequel first, and then
Yeah.
see how much they love each other in the main book, it's going to crush you 1,000 times harder. Now,
Oh
if you
my
read the main
goodness.
book,
Here we go.
or
This is their dearly departing. So this is, if you guys want to pick this up, you can get it, of course, Amazon. But I just wanted to show everybody before we talk about a sequel because you guys want to read this one first,
yeah, no, you definitely
obviously.
want to check this one out. Yeah.
You're gonna want to check this one out and read it fully before John gets out his sequel because I think we need a sequel. I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so. And I don't know if, how large that cover was on the screen there, but it looks like blood droplets on the cover.
Oh, I'll bring it back up for sure.
You're going to want to take a close look at that.
Here we go. I can see how much I can. I don't want to continue shopping. Is there a thing I can get rid of that? I don't know if I can get rid of that. Anyway,
If you click on the cover,
be
you
able
might be able to.
to go back here.
And if you can see that there on
Mm,
the front cover, the little blood droplets. If you go, okay, that's great. Right there, you'll see
okay, there we
that
go. Oh,
there
now it goes
are.
bigger.
Yep, it goes bigger. So the shape of some of those blood splatter bits is actually shaped like strawberries.
Oh, okay, and that's it. Don't
So,
tell us anymore.
so is that blood or is that strawberry juice? I don't know. Yeah,
Mm,
so I wanted to point that out. But
we will know. Bum, bum, bum.
the sequel, yeah, the sequel will be a very
Mm,
political a
right?
very political thing. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that will
Oh,
be the one coming first. So the dearly departing, the dreams that they planted. You'll have to read that one first before the sequel. Um, that'll be kind of book one and two. For the prequel, if that gets done, you can either read the first or the prequel. Doesn't matter which order. It's going to hurt twice as much once you get to the second time.
gee, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all in the entertainment, right? It's all in the entertainment.
I didn't want to know that much even. Do I even want to read the prequel now?
Oh,
No,
you
I
do.
just,
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna love
and
it.
that's all the whole part of it is, sometimes authors like that's kind of why I like to do my interviews when it comes to an author, because it's like, is there beforehand, how are they writing before and the after? Like there's always like its own story, right? The beginning, middle, and end for an author. Like, are you gonna? How did you get into book writing, and how do you love your book writing? And then kind of like the end to it, and then it's like, they want to keep going, or oh, this is the end of my writing career, or whatever they choose. But it's very interesting to figure out like why they went into book writing. Why did they choose the characters? Why do they love like, just writing for people? But I can see, you have that passion just deep within you going like, you can tell you love to entertain people, whether it
Oh
was
yeah,
screenwriting or just writing. And just like this short conversation just tells me like, you can just see it. You just love bringing that entertainment. So now that you have like the plot and the whole middle, it's like, it makes sense to have like a prequel of things of your characters and be like, this is who they were before, and why they wanted to be where they were, why
yeah.
they went to there, and then the after, like, well, we want to know what happens after. It's like watching a good movie
Hmm.
and you want to know like, oh, what happens in the end? Because sometimes in some movies they don't tell you all the way through because there's a sequel, but
Hmm.
sometimes there isn't, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I've left a movie theater going, well, I've got questions. Like,
If
what
this was a
happens?
movie,
And some don't. Yeah.
if this was a movie, you wouldn't be walking out with questions. I don't
No
think you would
question.
have any questions, only because, like, you would know that it's going to continue, but you would be satisfied with the ending. I can guarantee and promise, with everything I've got, that you'd be satisfied with the ending. There's no question about that. I
Nice.
love it. My friends love it. Other people love it. TikTokers love it.
Good.
So if this was a movie, think like Braveheart or Titanic. Um, they all had perfect conclusions. Well,
Yeah.
obviously Titanic, but unfortunately, you know, a lot of people died, but
It had
that's
an
part.
ending because
Look,
you knew like that was the shipwreck, this happened, whatever.
yeah,
And then it's like, okay, well, end of Jack, okay, bye. And, Rose is, alive and kicking, whatever. But you are satisfied. You're leaving
yeah,
satisfied knowing the
yeah,
outcome of it.
and like Braveheart, William Wallace, he did everything he could for the freedom of Scotland. And if you didn't see the movie, maybe I shouldn't say, but the way it ended is, there's not going to be a sequel. You're not going to have any questions. But what I want to say is, if this was a movie, it would be like, I don't want to say like, I'm not sure how to word it, but
You would
it could
just
be
leave satisfied. You would
it
leave
could be a
satisfied.
blockbuster. I'm going to say it. It could be a
Okay.
blockbuster if the
You
right
know,
people did it with the right camera angles, the right lighting, the right actors. Well, basically, if everything is right, of course, anything could be good. But I think this could take a whole generation by storm
yeah,
and just put their relationships into an entirely different light altogether, and realize this is different. This is mega heavy. This is heavy, heavy stuff. And what you could do with a soundtrack with this story is like equivalent to having something like My Heart Will Go On, where you get the Titanic soundtrack with, where you get all these different music pieces that all kind of sound similar to the theme music. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So you could have a theme song to this story, and have similar pieces of cinematic orchestrated music. Um,
beautiful. Yeah.
that is very similar to the theme,
Mm.
and then you have that whole strawberry through line. And like, imagine, you finish this movie, the credits roll, and say they choose Strawberry Fields Forever, or whatever that song's called, from the Beatles,
Yeah.
that will leave you haunted. Like, yeah, you're going to be haunted. There's no question. When I think about that, it gives me chills up my spine. I'm like, oh,
So
that's freaky.
obviously, it would make a big screen. Do you want to see it as a big screen feature? Would you?
Yeah,
Is that something you
100%.
would want for that? Yeah.
The reason I
Mm.
believe that, the reason I want that is because I believe that most moviegoers who enjoy love stories and dystopian thrillers are going to love this. They're going to absolutely love it. We've been needing a good movie like something huge for a long time, and I haven't seen anything huge for a long time. I haven't seen plots that were this thick. I haven't seen writing that was like being kept tight, you know. And there's so much out there that has filler and it just drags on. And I know that maybe there are some people in the who are doing this are like, well, we just want more content. We just got to stretch it out. We got to put more thought into it. You have to make it tighter. You have to make it thicker, where everything is a lot tighter to keep the entertainment going. Because this is not about the money. It's about the people. If you entertain the people first, they're going to give you all their money. It's the same as buying something at the store. I'll give you my money if you give me a bunch of bananas. That's how it works. And I hope these bananas are delicious. And if they are, I'll come back for more. And it's the same thing. You give me a great movie, they're going to want more from that person. And I think if they put the people first, put the audience first, and make this, somebody's going to make a lot of money.
The people agree. The people agree.
So whoever makes this movie is going to make a huge, huge fortune. And I don't mean to be bragging, but I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. And if there's a way that I can portray what I see in my mind's eye, aside from, your own thoughts, reading through it, I'll come up with a way to find those images to get the idea across to any producer who wants to take a look at this. Because, there's a lot of stuff that is half-arsed and it's not that great. And it's been too long since we had a movie that is going to blow minds. And I think this could do it. This could very well do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. I hate to cut us kind of short, but we're running, 47 minutes here. So.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
It's so great. And I think, it leaves people wanting more already. So those of you that have watching the show, go and get the book, read it, and maybe we'll petition for the movie or something.
Oh man, I'm telling you,
it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. But we look forward to more of your work, and please,
thank you.
Let me know when the prequel comes out, because
absolutely,
I will definitely now, because I'm more interested. I will sit down and be reading the book. I will. I will make an effort to do that. But okay, thank you so very much. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Sit back, relax, take in a movie of your choice, and
make sure you have Kleenex with you by the last chapter. Make sure that happens. You're going to need them.
I will. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
There we have another Connected with Cari in the books. That's one thing. A really, really, really good book. Or a really, really good movie, just, let us know some really good books that you've read lately, or a really, really good movie that you saw lately, and put it down below and let us know what's been going on in your world, what you've been watching. But yeah, please, The Dearly Departing, it's going to blow your socks off. I think truly. And then by the time the prequel comes out, you guys are just going to be itching for more, like those really good movies, and you just want more, right? Those really good, Netflix series, and you're just like, they leave you hanging. They're like, oh, the next, episode's coming out in like a month, and you're like, what? So with that, hope you guys have a great weekend. We will see you guys probably, is it this Wednesday or next Wednesday for another Shift Happens show, following Wednesday for the Shift Happens show. And with that, hope you guys have a great